Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k video, and today guys I am sure you are all as super excited as I am, as Games Workshop has teased us with some reveals for the Imperial Guard. If you cannot tell, I am super psyched to talk about this because guys, we didn't get shit on. And you might think, oh, that's a really positive way of looking at it, sarcasm, but this is actually a really good release by Games Workshop. Really good. Because it's not totally broken and overpowered. They acknowledge that in the release. But it's not total cack either. Everything we have seen for Guard that's been released is absolutely middle of the road. Which is perfect. It means there's not anything which is super powerful. There's not anything which is super strong. And what that means is that the Guard are going to get lots of toolbox options. Lots of things to pull out of the toolbox. And that's really, really good. That's what the Guard are like at the moment. There are some weaker things in the current Guard Codex that have been left behind as the meta shifted. But overall, everything you see in this release is fairly of equal power, barring one or two things like this death from the dark. But we'll talk about that later. So yeah guys, really psyched for release because not only are Guard getting some nice buffs, these buffs by and large are pretty sensible. There are some strong ones, that's good. There are some weak ones, that's good. That's not as good, but there is some balance. You know, it's just done well. I would say that this is a solid release. And it means that, is it Marine level? Let's be honest, is it Marine level bullshit and broken? No, it is not. And that's what we want, because if it comes out and it's bang middle of the road, then Games Workshop will leave it alone, guys. And that's good. So, without further ado, you guys can all tell that I am just exuding excitement. It's just spilling out all over the place. Let's take a look at what we know so far from the Imperial Guard reveals by Games Workshop. Remember, guys, we have only seen a snippet of what is available, and if what we have been shown is the best that we get, then that's really good. But guys, traditionally Games Workshop doesn't show the best things available to each faction. Traditionally they show the middling things, so there may be even better things than this. But I suspect with some of the negative feedback they've had from the last couple of releases that they may have actually changed the article a bit, and this is the best that we're going to get. If that's the case, I'm totally fine with it. If this is the best we get, it's still pretty good. So without further ado, we're not going to start off in chronological order. We're going to take straight away a look at what was released today, not the strategy from yesterday. We're going to look at the Greater Good Astra Militarum faction focus. Okay. I'm going to go through it in as much detail as possible, guys. This video could go on for quite a bit, but hopefully it will cover absolutely everything. Okay, including stuff that's been posted on Facebook. So, today we're continuing our coverage of the latest chapter approved, Psychic Awakening Series, Greater Good, another faction focus, Astra Militarum. Right. Regimental Doctrines. Guys, we get custom regiment traits. There was almost no doubt this was going to happen, because every faction was getting it. But it's still, still nice to know that we get it. Now, it's interesting. When you first read this, you think that, hang on, these might not be that good. Well, when you first read it, you think we've been jibbed. But then you think about it a bit more and you realise, actually, no, we've probably got about the same as everyone else in the wider context. So, you can choose from one of the pre-existing regiment choices. I doubt any of those will change. Restorium will still be 6 inches. Mordians will still be your 5+ Overwatch and your stick together for your +1 leadership. Cadians get your real ones. They will stay unchanged. I doubt they'll get tweaked in any way. Okay, or you can build your own regiment trait, and you get to pick 2 options. But there is only a list of 12. Okay, now that is, I'm not going to lie, guys, that is much less than what everyone else seems to have got. Most other factions seem to have got about 20, and we've got 12. So at first, you're there thinking, God damn it, Games Workshop, you've screwed us again. But hold on. Okay, I'm going to cut ahead a little bit now, but Games Workshop are also doing a massive flesh out of the Tempestus Scions, the sub-faction in the Guard. Alright? So we get 12. What these 12 options are, what you have is your 6 original regiments, plus your 12 options here, plus to build regular Guard regiments, and then you also have got 6 new regiment traits for Militarum Tempestus alone. So if you add all that up together, you get 24. You get your 6, your 12, and your 6. And we don't know, and the 6 that have been Tempestus traits, which have been shown by Games Workshop, are set Tempestus regiment traits. But what if, we don't know this, and I've got no inside track, but what if you have a build your own Tempestus regiment as well? If that's the case, then you could have another 12, or at the very least another 6 traits to choose for the Militarum Tempestus. So what you might actually find is, what I think might happen is you have your four pure, normal, regular line infantry guard. You've got your 6 main traits and your 12 build your own regiment traits. And I think they'll mirror that for the Militarum Tempestus as well. I don't know for sure. If they do, that'd be a fantastic bonus. Or if they just give us those 6 set traits, I'd still be pretty happy with that, because some of those are amazing, guys. We'll get into those later. But I think what could happen is we get 6 line regular guard traits and 12 build your owns, 6 Tempestus set regiment traits, and 12 more to build your own Tempestus regiment. And that would make up the 24 unique, 24 build your own, and you'd have 12 set traits as well. That would be cool. Don't know if that'll happen. No idea if that'll happen. But at the very least, we know for certain that we have 6 normal guard regiments, 12 build your own, and 6 Tempestus regiments to choose from. That's a load of variety. I'm happy with that. It's a little below what other people have got, but it's still great. What we've seen is great. Okay, and I'll get into that a little bit more. So you pick 2 from your 12 options. You form your own regimental doctrine, and you based on your favoured style of gameplay or the narrative, and then they give 2 examples. Okay, so if you want to hold the line and gun down your enemies at overwhelming rate of fire, for example, gunnery experts and disciplined shooters are 2 great options for maximising the number of shots. So gunnery experts. The troops of some Astra Militarum regiments spend countless weeks drilling with their vehicles' weapons, ensuring every reload is swift and precise, even when the crew are under immense pressure. When you roll to determine the type of characteristic of any weapon a vehicle model with its doctrine is equipped with, you can reroll one of the dice. So basically, when you roll to determine the type characteristic of any weapon a vehicle model with its doctrine is equipped with, you can reroll one of the dice. Guys, that's the Catachan vehicle trait. So what that means is, if you shoot your battle cannon, which is heavy D6, and you roll a 1, you can just re-roll it. Or if you roll a 2, you can just re-roll it. If you roll a 3, you can re-roll it. If you want, it allows you to try and get the most shots from your vehicles, from your random shots. So your Hellhounds, you'd get 2d6, and you get to re-roll one of those if one of them was crap. And then you could use a CP re-roll on the other one if both were crap. Let me tell you, anyway, I'll go back in a sec. I'll carry on to the next one. Okay, I'll carry on to the next one. Disciplined shooters. There are few skills more explicitly soldierly, barely said that word, soldierly, than that of marksmanship. Having spent countless hours on ranges, the warriors of this regiment have honed their skills with all manner of weapons to ensure controlled fire even under the harshest battlefield conditions. Remaining calm under immense pressure, these soldiers are capable of pouring vast quantities of accurate fire on enemies that draw close enough, demonstrating impressive clarity of thought. When an infantry model with this doctrine shoots a rapid fire weapon against a unit that is within 18 inches, double the number of attacks that weapon makes, rather than following the normal rules for rapid fire weapons. Guys, this is the infantry part of the Armageddon Steel Legion. My initial reaction to this was, oh, they've just split open the existing ones. And I thought, that's a little disappointing. For like 1 millisecond I thought that. And then I thought, holy fuck, that's incredible. Okay, that is unbelievably good. Okay, because all the guard traits, all of them, all the guard traits have got bits of them which are good, and we all wish we could pick the best bits. You know, how many times as a Valhallan player have you gone, well, I like the fact that my vehicles are really tough, but I wish I could get better number of shots from their weapons? How many times as a Cadian player have you gone, oh, I really like the reroll ones, but I hate the fact that I have to stay still to use it. I wish I had a longer rapid fire range. How many times has I as a Mordian player gone, yeah, I quite like the +1 leadership, that's decent, but I can get that from commissars. What I wish is I had longer range on my rifles. These two traits that they have demonstrated go perfectly together. What gunnery experts and disciplined shooters, I haven't even seen the other 10 that I've got available. I haven't even seen them, right? These two are exactly what I want for my Mordians and my Steel Legion. You know, my Steel Legion, you know, I love the 18-inch rapid fire. Absolutely love it. Okay, on my infantry. But the AP -1 with the vehicles, it often doesn't come into play anymore, guys, because people just, you know, ignore the AP -1 a lot of the time. A lot of the time, especially against Marines now, I'm facing AP -2 as a minimum. Guess what? Now I can basically go, I'm going to keep the best bit of the Armageddon Steel Legion, and I'm going to take the best bit of the Catachan Doctrine. You know, in my Steel Legion, I don't give a fuck about having... If I want to run my Steel Legion as Armageddon Orc Hunters and have them and basically use the Catachan rules for them, I don't give two solitary shits about having Strength 4 on my Mechanized Infantry. My Mechanized Infantry that are there to take objectives and to provide a little bit of fire support. That's what they do. Now, thanks to these two traits, and I build my own regiment, if I build the Armageddon Orc Hunters, I can take gunnery experts for my vehicles. That's exactly what all my battle cannons and martial cannons and plasma cannons want. And my infantry still get to keep the 18-inch rapid fire. To be clear, guys, this doesn't mean that you get... Some people have thought if you're within 9 inches, this means you get like 8 shots per guy with first rank fire, second rank fire. That's not what it does. It very simply means that you get double shots within 18 inches. So what that means is, if you are, just to clarify, if you have a las gun with this and you have no orders whatsoever and you are within 18 inches, you still get your 2 shots rather than if you're within 12 inches. Okay, gives you best way to look at it, guys, it gives you 6-inch extra range to your rapid fire. That's all it does. It doesn't increase the number of shots you get, it just lets you get your extra shots from a longer range, your rapid fire from a longer range. Okay, amazing. Cannot tell you. I mean, my Mordians, this is perfect for my Mordians as well. My Mordians will now pretty much always run disciplined shooters because it fits with their fluff. The Mordian fluff is they spend day after day after day on the range. That's their whole thing. They march up and down, they do the range. I can tell you right now, guys, my Mordians are going to have disciplined shooters. There's no doubt about it. If I also get the ability to have reroll 1s, if I get the Cajun part of the trait, my Mordians are now going to have reroll 1s to hit with an 18-inch rapid fire. And every single turn, my orders will always be first rank fire, second rank fire. I don't even care about... You know, I would if I can't tell you guys, it's incredible, and that would fit. Quite frankly, that would fit with my fluff of having Cadians in my Mordian regiment. My Mordians being good riflemen. It's the Mordian rifles. It's incredible. It's an incredible trait, guys, and it's all rapid fire weapons. So my Mordians are now going to be like plasma, yes. You know, it's just these two gunnery experts and disciplined shooters. I think you will find will be, unless something better comes out, these will be the two best traits you might. Yeah, from what I can see, based on what we've got in the guidebook already, these will be your most competitive choices. The only other thing I can think of is if you do get, if you do get the Cadian thing, people will take the best part of the Catachan trait, the rerolling number of dice in the vehicles, and combine that with the best part of the Cadian trait, which is the reroll 1s if you stay still. Because people when you're trying to make a competitive guard list, you often have to decide, do you want to go Cathchans for the more shots, or Cadians for the more accurate shots? Now you just pick both. If that's allowed. They may have identified that as being too powerful. Fair enough to them if they have. But right now, what I can see here is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, they've also shown some other things. So it says first, so just to get some of the Games Workshop spiel here. Firstly, your leaving rust weapons and heavy artillery vehicles will be able to up their effectiveness if they re-rolls the number of attacks they make. Meanwhile, your guards will be churning out 2 shots apiece or 4 shots the first one casting on fire, and up to 18 inch range. Great, they've already said that. Now they've also they've actually shown off a couple other regiment traits as well. So we're really lucky in our faction focus. They've actually given us 4 traits shown off potentially, which is great. That's absolutely fantastic. So I think the couple of these ones are quite good. So one of them is combined or specs. When resolving an Overwatch... Oh, sorry, I should read the full bit. Combined or specs. The vehicles of this regiment share all specs reading to best track and target charging enemies, protecting their comrades from harm. When resolving an Overwatch attack made by a regiment vehicle model with this doctrine, whilst in 3 inches of another friendly regiment vehicle unit, a hit roll of 5+ scores a hit. So... This isn't great. It's not bad, but it's not great. This is the part of the Mordian trait. Okay, but it's the weaker part of the Mordian trait in many ways, because most people, it's because the Mordian trait lets you get a 5+ Overwatch on your infantry and your vehicles, whereas this one only lets you get it on your vehicles. So, just so people know, the Mordian trait is if everyone's ranked up base to base in an infantry squad, or any kind of infantry squad, not just the basic guardsman squad, then you get +1 leadership, 5+ Overwatch. And if you've got a vehicle within 3 inches of another vehicle, you get 5+ Overwatch. So this bit, out of the 3 parts of the Mordian trait, this is only one part of it. Now, it is good, but I don't see it. Why wouldn't you just take the Mordian bit? That one is kind of weak. I won't lie. If that had just been 5+ Overwatch for vehicles, then but it would have been too close to the Mordian thing, wouldn't it? I get why they've done it. It's okay. But I've never. The thing is, the reason I've never used this in my Mordians, or very, very rarely ever used in my Mordians, is simply for the fact that I don't let my vehicles get charged most of the time, if at all I can help it. 9 times out of 10, my vehicles don't see combat because I have 180 infantry screening them, and that's why you don't. So my infantry like the 5+ Overwatch because it helps them screen against charging enemies for my vehicles. Because it means that the enemy takes more damage on the way in, trying to chop through my infantry to get to my tanks. So this isn't that good. Okay? I'm not going to lie, this isn't that good. It's okay, but it should have, I'll be honest with you, this should have been for the infantry side of things. This should have been, your infantry get a 5+ Overwatch. Unfortunately, they've done it on the vehicles. Okay, anyway. Jury-rigged repairs. This one's great. Last-minute vehicle tune-ups before battle can stop a trap breaking or a weapon misfiring in combat, but the ability to repair damage mid-battle can be the difference between life and death, and many Astra Militarum vehicle crews are drilled in these vital skills. At the start of your turn, roll a d6 for each vehicle model from your army with this doctrine that has lost any wounds. On a 2 to 4, that model regains 1 lost wound. On a 5+, that model regains up to d3 lost wounds. Holy fuck. I'm going to swear a lot, guys. I'm sorry. Holy hell. Jesus H. Christ. Jiminy Cricket. Christ on a cracker. Flipping heck. This is so good. Hello, Games Workshop. Yes, I'd like to have free army-wide jury rigging, but I can still move after I've used it, And also I have the chance that I'm actually going to basically have a free tech priest. I've got a 33% chance to have a free tech priest. Oh, by the way, I would still also like to be healed by jury rigging, and I'd also still like to be able to have a tech priest come along. This means if you have a tech priest in your armoured list, you are at a minimum going to heal one of your vehicles 1 plus D3 wounds a turn. Or you could heal 2D3 vehicles, 2D3 wounds a turn. Now this gets really pants on head retarded when you combine it with the fact that a normal tech priest from the Adeptus Mechanicus can repair guard vehicles. And they have a relic and a warlord trait combination which allows you to repair twice and get +1 to the repair roll. So if you really think about this just for one moment, if you had a tank, for example, let's say the Baneblade, whatever, you could heal 1 wound from this, maybe D3, but definitely at least 1. Then you could use the jury rigging stratagem on it for another 1. Then you could get your allied in Admech Tech Priest to heal another 2 plus 2d3. So that's a minimum of 4 plus 2d3, which is an average of 8 wounds. That's insane. You can heal an average of 8 wounds with this. At the very least, guys. That's if you want to go pure guard. If you want to go pure guard, I get it. I respect it. That's what I'm going to do. But if you go pure guard, then the average wounds that you can now repair from one of these vehicles is 4. 1 for the During Stratagem, 1 for this, and 2 from the Tech Priest D3. That's 4 wounds you can repair in a vehicle. That means any vehicle in your army that gets knocked down to 1 wound and is on its last bracket, you can spend for no CP. Oh no, for 1 CP you can heal up to 4 wounds on this thing and get it not only out of that last bracket, but potentially into an upper bracket as well. With a little bit of luck, you can get that into your upper bracket. It means if this trait basically means if you don't kill an Astra Militarum vehicle, it's going to get better again. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's free heals across the whole army. Literally free healing across all your vehicles. Imagine if I took this and the bloody gunnery experts one of my Steel Legion. I'm going to be putting out an insane level of firepower. Oh, and guess what? Also, if you don't kill my vehicles, they're just going to heal themselves. It's incredible. Yeah. I love it. Okay. It's really, really good. Now, some of you will be saying, Mordian Glory, you said all this shit wasn't broken. Okay. No, it's not broken. Okay. I'll tell you why it's not broken, guys. Because Imperial Guard vehicles have a fundamental weakness, which quite simply is they can be tagged. And at the moment, Guard vehicle armies are struggling. So what this does allows you to just finally take an armoured company and get the most out of your regiment traits and to get the most of your regiment traits. However, this does nothing for you whatsoever if you collect a mostly infantry army. What if you've got pure infantry and then just 3 tank commanders? You're not going to want to take this. So it is really good if you take a pure armoured army. Don't get me wrong. Or a very heavy armoured army. Armoured force, tank force. But it doesn't affect everything. The reason why these things are kind of balanced is because it's not like it's for any unit in your army, roll it on a 2+, you get a model back or you regain a wound, or on a D3. It's not that. It's just only on your vehicles whatsoever. Don't forget, Astra Militarum vehicles have no invulnerable save or any way of gaining an invulnerable save in any way, shape or form. The big weakness of Astra Militarum, of Imperial Guard vehicles, is they can get tagged and they degrade quickly. But all this lets you do is have a chance to not degrade. So yes, it is super, super powerful, and I'm totally gushing over it. But that's just because it's a nice little... It's not totally broken. It's not like... You know, it's not like, and you would have to ally in Admech, and you'd have to make that Admech guy your warlord, and that would be, you have to be a relic to do that, and you could only do that on one vehicle a turn. But the point is that this is just a nice, consistent buff. And that's what I said at the beginning of the video, guys. I said, none of these are broken, they're just very consistent. And that's good. You know, having an 18-inch rapid fire range that only affects your infantry is balanced. Because, yes, 18-inch rapid fire is great, but it only affects the infantry. And it's just a nice, not very complicated, consistent buff. Getting to reroll random number of shots, we already had that. It's nice, it's consistent. Being able to regain a wound a turn on your vehicles, nice, consistent. Not totally broken, just consistent. And consistency is powerful in 40k, very powerful. Now the next thing that Games Workshop revealed is also really exciting. There was a lot of talk before any leaks came out of any kind that Imperial Guard needed something, some sort of veteran tank crew or something like that. And a lot of people said the best thing, you know, the easiest way to do that would be a stratagem that lets you, for 1 CP, upgrade 1 tank to be a veteran tank crew. Something like that. Games Workshop obviously heard that and went, okay, well, we can't have everyone just having ballistic skill 3 plus leaving Russes everywhere, because that's broken. You know, tank commanders are flipping incredible. We couldn't have everyone just making the whole army tank commanders. So they have introduced tank aces. So you can make a couple of vehicles a tank ace in your army. Okay, so this is what it says. Instead of choosing a warlord trait, you can take a tank ace ability and apply it to 1 eligible Astra Militarum vehicle. Alternatively, or in addition, if you want to include 2 tank aces, you can spend a single command point to use the tank ace stratagem. So basically what this means, guys, is tank ace, the tank ace traits, the tank ace abilities are warlord traits for your tank commanders. That's great, because there's loads of warlord traits in the Guard book which aren't that good on tank commanders. They're okay, but they're definitely more focused on company commanders. You know, Bellowing Voice, for example, is a good one. And the, you know, there's one that totally just doesn't help them, the Draconian Discipline one. Basically now what Games Workshop have said is, we're going to give you the chance to take some tank commander warlords. Okay, that's fine. But also you can take 2 of them, because you can forego a warlord trait and upgrade 1 of your vehicles to a tank ace. But also you can spend 1 CP to make another one a tank ace. So let me read the stratagem out in its entirety. Tank ace. Imperial armoured regiments fight in countless wars across the galaxy. Though many tank crews are lost, some survive a number of battles, their experience and success earning them renown as tank aces. Use the stratagem before the battle. Select 1 Astra Militarum vehicle model without the Brood Brothers keyword. So sorry, Colt, you don't get to nick our thing. From your army, that model can be given a tank ace ability from the corresponding list below. Named characters cannot be given a tank ace ability, and no model can have more than 1 tank ace ability. You can only use stratagem once per battle. So you can't upgrade everyone to tank aces, but you can have 2. Now, then Games Workshop reveal one of the tank ace traits. Do you get frustrated when you score a direct hit on your opponent's prize vehicle with your vanquished battle cannon, only to be denied when they pass a cheeky 6+ save? I'll be honest, Games Workshop, that has never come up, because no one in the history of 8th edition has run a Vanquisher cannon. I mean, some people will tell you they tried it, but no one did. They're lying. And you might see some battle reports where people try it out for fun, but they didn't really. It wasn't for fun. No one's ever run a Vanquisher cannon. That's all just lies spread by the towel. So no, I haven't thought of that. Sorry. Anyway, continue. Rob them of the chance by making your tank ace a weapon expert. Alternatively, against infantry heavy armies, you can gunish them, great, with even greater ferocity by giving your Punisher cannon a AP of -1. Weapon expert. The ace has truly mastered their vehicle's primary weapon, using it to deliver killing shots against the odds. Improve the armor penetration characteristic of turret weapons. This monster equipped with by 1. Well, unfortunately, Games Workshop kind of stole my thunder because I was just going to say Punisher Cannon. Holy hell, Punisher Cannons. By the Emperor. I shouldn't have to spell it out, but I'm going to, because then I have an excuse to sport this semi that I've been fielding this entire time. But the big problem with the Punisher Cannon is its AP dash. That means it would be AP -1. Punisher Cannons, for those of you that don't know, fire 20 shots. And then if you move half, you can take advantage of the grinding advance rule and fire it twice, which means you get 40 shots. Now, and they are strength 5, currently AP dash, but now you can make them strength 5 AP -1. So basically, guys, a Punisher, Lemurous Punisher, can now shoot 40 heavy bolter shots, and then you can slap on the 3 heavy bolters that it can take it with it anyway, and now it gets 49 heavy bolter shots. Now I said something at the beginning of 8th edition which still holds true today, which is the best weapon you can field in your Imperial Guard is the heavy bolter. And the reason it's the best weapon against anything else is the fact that it's strength 5 with an AP -1. Because strength 5 is the perfect strength in 8th edition, because it means you're going to wound everything on at least 3s. And the worst that you'll ever wound anything on is 5s. So you're still going to wound Imperial Knights on 5s with Heavy Bolter. Well, now, but the big problem with the Punisher Cannon is most of the time those Knights were going to get, or those big targets were still going to get like a 3+ save or 2+ save in cover. Now they don't. An AP -1 Punisher Cannon is literally one of the most powerful things the Guard have. Now, bear in mind, I don't know if there's any restriction here about being able to take the same tank ace ability twice. Okay? Maybe you can only take each ability once. I don't know. That's not specified. Okay? But if you can take if you can take the same tank ace ability twice, then this is incredible, because you could take 2 Lemurous tank commanders with Punisher Cannons and have hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s thanks to take aim, or gunner's kill on sight, strength 5, AP -1 shots. That is almost 100 heavy bolter shots. It's 49 plus 49 from 2 tank commanders. That's just, I don't know what could stand up to that. I don't know what could stand up to that. That's got to kill a knight, right? What if you could? Holy shit! What if you combine that with Old Grudge? You couldn't take Old Grudges. You couldn't take Old Grudges because that's a warlord trait. But what if you just shoot that at night? I mean, roughly what we're looking at 100. Let's say 100 shots. You're going to hit with a third of them, 66. But then you get to re-roll the 1s, and a third of those. So you get to re-roll about 18 of them. So you're going to hit with another 12. So you're going to hit with what, like? You're going to hit with 80, roughly. You shoot 100 shots. You hit with 66. You get to re-roll the 44. You get to re-roll the 33 you missed with. No, you get to reroll a third of those, which is 11. No, it's not. It's hard. You get to reroll half. You get to reroll half of the ones you miss with, because it's 1s and 2s. You don't reroll the 2s. You reroll the 1s. Yeah. So you reroll half. So that's what I said. That's 16, and you hit with 2/3 of those rerolls. So that's roughly 10. So what's that? 66, 70. We'll say 75. You'll get 75 hits. Let's say you get 75 hits, roughly. Then you wound with a third of those. That's 25 wounds. Fair enough. And then the knight gets a 4-up save against that, so you do 12 wounds to a knight. That's pretty good. I may have flipped up the maths there somewhere, but That's still 75 hits, 25 wounds. Yeah, that's half a knight dead from just 2 vehicles. 2 cheap vehicles too. That's really good. Or, you know, just thinking about that against Primaris infantry is, ugh. Put it the other way. What if you're shooting at Primaris infantry? Now you could have a cheap astropath to ignore cover on those Primaris infantry. That's 100 shots. How many Primaris Marines can you kill with this? 100 shots, 75 hits, 50 wounds. They're going to save half of them because you ignore cover AP -1. Say that they save 25, so 24. So that's 25 wounds through statistically against Primaris Marines, which is a full Primaris squad dead. Full squad just torn to pieces. Or 2 5-man squads torn to pieces. You know, they often do like to. That's really good. That is really, really good, because honestly, guys, you might think, oh, that's not such a big deal. That's just 2 5-man squads. Most Primaris armies are only running like, you know, most Primaris armies are only running like, 4 to 6 squads. You could remove so much. You know, if you really put this against hordes, it starts getting a bit grim, because you get your 50 wounds, and if you put it against orcs, for example, 50 wounds, that's 50 dead orcs. Ugh. But looking at the meta, that means you can kill half a knight, a full squad of Primaris, or infantry are just totally wrecked. That is incredible. So they've also just to say, it does say Astra Militarum vehicle. Does this mean Baneblades would benefit from it? You know, it doesn't say Lehman Russ. Does that mean you can take a Baneblade as a warlord? Now, no. The answer is yes, but it does say, but read it carefully, guys. Improve the turret weapons. Right, and I don't think the Baneblade cannon will be a turret weapon. I think the list of turret weapons is the one that the Leading Russers can take. So I don't think you can't take a weapon expert Baneblade. Okay, there might be other traits that let you use that let you go for a Baneblade, but you know, that's it. But I think it's going to be focused on Leading Russers. The next bit, it says, what's more, that's just one of the options. So we're moving on in the article now. What's more, that's just one of the options for the Leading Russ tank ace. There are further abilities available for artillery vehicles and either super heavy tanks, such as Baneblade. In fact, you can choose to give your super heavy tank a. Also, you can take. There will be. Okay, so you can give a Baneblade. You can make a Baneblade tank ace. Awesome. You can choose to make a super heavy tank ace a regiment. Give a regimental doctrine. Great for complementing your army's playstyle or representing a narrative on the battlefield. That's cool. So if your army is battle force, this model gains a regimental doctrine of its regiment, even if it is in a super heavy auxiliary detachment. That's just nice. So what you had to do previously, guys, is you could take a Baneblade, but it wouldn't get a regiment trait if you took it in a super heavy auxiliary detachment, which sucked. Or you could take it in a Supreme Command detachment, and it could take that. It could get a regiment trait that way. But then you've got to pay for 3 characters as a bit of a tax. You've got to pay for 3 characters to unlock a regiment trait Baneblade. Now you can just now you can take a regular warlord trait, or give up your warlord trait if you want to. But you could just take a normal warlord trait and spend 1 CP to basically give your Baneblade a regimental doctrine. That's cool. What if your regimental doctrine is jury-rigged repairs combined with gunnery experts? That means you have a Baneblade. For 1 CP, you can basically make a Baneblade, reroll one of the random number of shots, and repair a wound each turn. That's nice. That is really that. There will be other ones, of course, and it does mention, you know, tank ace for artillery vehicles. So can we get a tank ace basilisk? What about a tank ace death strike? What if there's a death strike ability, guys, which just says the end is nigh. Take this, launch the death strike missile, turn 1. Maybe then someone would take a death strike if there was something like that. So now let's take a look at some of the stratagems that Games Workshop has previewed. So I really like this next paragraph because Games Workshop have finally sort of reminded themselves and us what stratagems are meant to be, which is small little buffs that you can pull out of a toolbox, but not something that will just break the game. You know, a stratagem shouldn't be like it is with many marine stratagems. Spend 1 CP, effectively delete this enemy unit. It shouldn't be that. Or spend 1 CP, effectively make your unit immune to any damage that the army's going to do, that the enemy's going to do to you. It shouldn't be that. I like the stratagem because look, Games Workshop say, let's be honest, whether it's for the powerful in-game effects or the thematic nuances they represent, everyone loves stratagems. Psychic Awakening the Greater Good includes even more that can be used by various Astra Militarum units. Some of them are situational in nature, but in the right circumstances, or if you've tailored your army to make the most of them, you can get some serious bang for your buck, as they're quite the bargaining command points. Yes, Games Workshop, they should be situational in nature. There shouldn't be a stratagem which... There should be some stratagems which you use every single turn. For example, with the guard inspired tactics, you're always probably going to want to get that extra order. No, but you know, it's something to have, but it's such a minor little buff. You know, I just want to spend 1 CP to get an extra order. Fine. But most powerful stratagems that do damage output should be situational. So let's and the two that they preview I really like. I really like. So, splash damage. Cover offers little protection against hellhounds and their variants, and often becomes the target's tomb. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a hellhound model from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a chem cannon, inferno cannon, or melter cannon by that model, against you that is receiving the benefit of cover, you can re-roll the wound roll. Now this is really interesting, guys. This is a good one. I said in my Banewolf video recently, just go check it out if you haven't watched it yet, that one of the things you could say about the Banewolf, one of the problems with the Hellhound is the fact that when you're shooting at someone in cover, it's only AP -1, so really all the Hellhound is doing is taking away the cover save, and then often the enemy will, you know, might take a couple of wounds. And a good example I used was Hellhound shooting at stealth teams, because the stealth teams are still going to get a 3-up save. What this lets you do is, it doesn't let you ignore cover, but what it lets you do is if someone is in cover, your AP -1 is basically going to take that cover away, and then you're just going to layer the wounds on. Rerolling all the wounds is really powerful. Okay, you're going to get 7 hits. Look, think about this. You're going to get an average on 2 hits, you get 7 hits, and then you've got, if you're winning on 3s, that's 4 wounds. Then you reroll that again. That's good. Well, it's going up to maybe 6 wounds. You're looking at 5. Yeah, it's going to give you an extra. This for 1 CP. This is going to give you 7 auto hits. You get 4 wounds. Reroll those 3. Should get another 2. Yeah. On average, for 1 CP, this is going to give you 2 additional wounds against an infantry unit in cover. Fair enough. It's 1 CP. You know. And what happens if you get 12 shots? What happens if you get the big 12? What happens if you combine this with your expert gunners thing up top? So you're getting to reroll the number of shots for one of the Hellhound dice. Then you can use CP to reroll the other dice. And then you could spend 1 CP on this to reroll all your wounds if someone's in cover. That's really powerful. Really powerful. But you know, actually, let me go back. It's not really powerful. You know, actually, it's nice. I keep saying really powerful when actually I mean it's just a nice to have. It's a nice buff to have. You know, what this means is that you probably want to take a couple of Hellhounds in your army. You know, take a couple of Hellhounds, run them up a flank, burn out some enemies hiding in cover. Happy days. Nice little buff. There, right now, there are, until now, there were no buffs for Hellhounds. There were no stratagems for them. This is a good one to have. You know? Think about this. The Chem Cannon. Oh. Bane Wolves. Think about this with Bane Wolves. The Chem Cannon wounds infantry on 2s with an AP -3. So imagine you're a gunnery expert Bane Wolf. You fly out the field, you finally get into range, you get your shot off. Oh, you only get 1 dice. Well, guess what? I'll use my gunnery expert to re-roll it. Oh, it becomes a 6. Now I'm going to wound the enemy on 2s. So I wound on 2s. I get one failed wound. I re-roll it. I get 6. This, and then my enemy is at AP -3. So if you think about this, on a Bane Wolf with gunnery expert, if a Bane Wolf gets 6 shots, it will do 6 wounds at AP -3 to the enemy. If a Hellhound gets this on max shots, let's do it fair, max shots, it'll be 12 auto hits against, you know, Marines in cover. You're looking at 8 wounds, re-roll that, you're looking at 10 wounds at AP -1. So they're going to have 3 up. So that's 3 to 4 wounds against Marines with a Hellhound with this. Or with a Bane Wolf, max shots. That's 6 wounds through at AP -3. So that's also 4 wounds. Because they get a 5 up save. One thing to caveat, and what might be worth checking out, is I don't think you could use this stratagem and combine it with an Astropath. Because the Astropath's Astral Divination removes the benefit of cover from the enemy. But you know what? Let's get it up. Let's get the thing up to the ability up. Let's see if we can pull it up so we see exactly how it interacts. 1 second. It's like Blue Peter in here. This is one I prepared earlier. Okay, let's read the Astropath rule. On the fly, elevator pitch, off the cuff. I am a professional. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm totally amateur. I'm not a professional. Astropath. Astral Divination. At the start of your shooting phase, pick an enemy unit with an 8-inch model. For the duration of that phase, the unit you picked gains no bonus to their saving throws for being cover when it is targeted by attacks made by friendly Astra Militarum units within 6-inch model. That's interesting. I wonder how the wording works, guys. I wonder how the wording works, because this says, until the end of the phase, blah blah blah, against a unit that is receiving the benefit of cover, which would be +1. And the benefit, yeah, actually, if you follow it through logically, the benefit of cover is +1 to your armor save. Astral Divination is gains no bonus to their saving throws for being in cover. So if you gain no saving, if you gain no saving throw, if you gain no bonus, you're not gaining the benefit of being in cover. Although, can we say, it would be an interesting rules argument, can you say someone's in cover, so they are gaining, you know, they are gaining the benefit of cover, okay, which is +1 to your save. But I'm going to take that bonus away, okay, but technically they're still in cover, but I'm going to take the bonus away using Astral Divination and get reroll wounds and get my -1 and get my ignore cover. I think you can't, personally. I think if you take away the bonus to the saving throw, you're taking away the benefit of cover. I think that's what it is. But it depends what the wording in the main rulebook is. Is receiving the benefit of cover just as rules are as written in the rulebook, just you are in a terrain feature. You know, if this said against unit that is within a terrain feature, yeah, it's an interesting one. The benefit of cover is +1 to your save. What do you guys think down below? I personally think rules as written and as intended, what is saying here is if you astropath them, you can't splash damage them. But that seems stupid. But what I think would be cool is if you can be in cover, but I remove your save bonus to your save. I'm not removing the fact that you're in cover. I'm just removing the bonus to your save. Then I can reroll and I get all the rerolls against you as well. I can see an argument for both sides, guys. Obviously I'd love it that astropaths could benefit because it doesn't really make sense. Why would splash damage stop working if an astropath is nearby? You know, the enemy's still in cover. I don't know. What do you guys think? Another excellent choice that you can activate for a single command point is Strike First, Strike Hard. By fielding a trio of armoured sentinels, which I always do, armed with las cannons, hello, you'll be able to unleash 3 tank busting shots that are hit on a 2+ in your first turn. Say what? Strike First, Strike Hard. From advanced positions, sentinels take careful aim and often strike at key targets before the battle begins. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase in the first battle round when an armoured sentinels or scout sentinels unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, add 2 to the hit roll. Oh my god, that is good. That's 1 CP. 1 CP to get +2 to hit. 12 months ago, I did a video saying hunter-killer spam could be a thing. Games Workshop obviously read my mind or watched that video and have realised that you could take a trio of las cannon sentinels, and thanks to the fact that armor sentinels have gone down to 30 points, las cannons have come down by 5 points. So sentinels, that's in total, there's a 15-point discount from the beginning of 8th edition. Combine that with the fact that you can take hunter-killer missiles means for 51 points you get a vehicle with a las cannon and a hunter-killer missile. Now if you take 3 of those, that is 153 points for 3 armor sentinels. And now you can have all those shots, adding 2s to hit. And then you could be Cadian to get reroll 1s. Hello. What about if you put Yarick there and you get reroll 1s anyway? Or Harker. What if you were Katachan with this? Hello, my name's Harker. What if you were Vestroyan, which meant that you could take 2 units of sentinels, give them all las cannons and hunter-killer missiles, which would only be 306 points, and you could have one of those units hitting on 2s, and another one of those units hitting on 3s, and because you can use Firstborn Pride on the Vestroyan sentinels. What about plasma? You could take las cannons, or you could take plasma. Plasma cannons. 3 plasma cannon sentinels, 40 points. Slap on a hunter-killer missile. Fuck it, why not? That could be potential 9 shots, hitting on 2s. Safe overheating. Safe overcharging. Oh. Wow. This is a brilliant stratagem. Not totally broken. Because you know what? I can only do it on armoured sentinels or scout sentinels. I only get to do it once, okay, and then then sentinels go back to being, and the thing is, what if my opponent goes first and just kills my trio of armoured sentinels? Okay, that was nice. You know, so it makes sense for it to only be 1 CP. It just gives again, like Games Workshop said, if you build your army around it, that's quite nice. Take a few hellhounds. Take a few sentinels. You know what? Fast attack choices were struggling in the Guard Codex. I feel like Games Workshop has boosted up what needs to be boosted up. Good job. So there we go, guys. There is one other stratagem which has been previewed, and that is the one from yesterday, which is the Bulgrin one. And I did cover that in yesterday's video. I will briefly go over it now because I haven't even got to the best bits yet. How's that even possible, guys? How's it even possible? I haven't got to the best bits yet. But we'll talk about the last revealed stratagem. We'll cover it briefly because I talked about it yesterday. Shield of Flesh. It is again 1 command point. So all three stratagems that we have seen from Psychic Awakening for the Guard have been 1 CP each, and all of them have provided situational buffs. That is good. Shield of Flesh. Use the stratagem in the shooting phase when an infantry unit from your army that is within 3 inches of a friendly Bulgarian unit is chosen as the target of an attack until the end of that phase. When resolving an attack made against that infantry unit, if that Bulgarian unit is closer to the attacking model than that infantry unit is, subtract -1 to hit rolls. Long story short, guys, do you have your Bulgarians in front of and near to a friendly infantry unit? If you do, and the opponent tries to shoot that valuable unit behind your Bulgarians, aka plasma veterans or a blob squad, then you can make them -1 to hit. That's great. Key thing here is this says infantry unit. It doesn't say Astra Militarum infantry unit, so there's a lot of talk at the moment now about using this in an Imperial Soup army. For example, you could take this with some Custodes and you could combine this with the Custodes Banner Bearer, which gives you another -1 to hit, which means you have Custodes with -2 to hit in an Imperial Soup list. Nice, very good. From a pure guard perspective, or Cataphron destroyers, Stygies Cataphron destroyers, which would be -2 with all that plasma. So it's got some good soup uses. From a pure guard perspective, the way I see this working best is you take a squad of Bulgarians, you string them out across your front line, and then you use combined squads to make a 20-man squad, and then -1 to hit it, which discourages your enemy from shooting them. And then you psychic barrier another squad, so that's 30 infantry you can give a -1 to hit to in one turn. And what that'll do, as a pure infantry guard player, what I'm predicting is the enemy will start shooting the other infantry. So those 30 -1 to hit infantry get left alone. And then what you do with that is, in your next turn, you combine squads again. So you now have a 30-man blob, which you put -1 to hit on. And then the next 10-man infantry squad, you put Night Shroud on that one. And so what you keep doing is forcing your opponent to shoot squads that are easier for them to kill, whilst building up a super blob. And I think it'd be very easy to get to the point where you've got a at least 30 to 40-man blob squad by turn 3 with -1 to hit on it. And when you get to that point, your opponent's then going to be like, flipping heck, I have to deal with this blob squad. And then what you do is go, okay, well, I'm going to do -1 to hit in my psychic phase on the big super death blob squad with Night Shroud, and then I'm going to give it psychic barrier to give it +1 to hit, +1 to its armor save, and then when you try and shoot it, I'm going to use Shield of Flesh to make it -2 to hit, and then if it's something still really bad, I'll use Take Cover. So then I have a 40-man Guardsman squad, and this is by turn 3, 40-man Guardsman squad with -2 to hit, +2 to their save. Thank you. So, from a pure guard perspective, that's how I see it being used. That's how I see it being used. But, guys, so that is, before we go any further, right, that is all of the pure guard, normal line infantry, line guard, regular guard, whatever one you call it, regular guard forces reveals. To summarise that, I am obviously fanboying. I am obviously gushing. It's more relief. It's relief, guys. We didn't get screwed. I hope that there will be delicious retribution, and that what's going to happen is, in the Tau book called The Greater Good, the Tau are actually the wank faction, and actually Imperial Guards steal the show. For once, we get to steal the show from them. If that's the case, yes, thank you. I don't even care if the fluff is shit at that point. I mean, hopefully it won't be. But if Guards steal the show in terms of good rules, that would be amazing. Now, just to summarise what we've seen here, what we've seen, and I said it at the beginning, what we've seen is balanced yet what we've seen here is consistency. Okay, so most of the traits that we have seen individually are of a reasonable power level. Yes, I would like to reroll the number of shots for my vehicles. Yes, I would like to have an 18-inch rapid fire. Thank you. Yes, I would like to be able to take a tank case. I would like to make an AP-1 Punisher cannon on one of my vehicles. Yes, I would like to be able to forgo my regiment trait or spend 1 CP to put a super, not forgo regiment trait, forgo my warlord trait to get a regimented super heavy. Yes, I quite like the idea of having a hellhound actually able to deal with enemies in cover, and yes, I quite like the idea of sentinels having a good role and being powerful. Individually, none of those things are bullshit. None of them. But they're all cheap. Like life in the guard, they're all cheap, and you can implement nearly all of these in one turn. Now, from what we've seen today, I could take gunnery experts with jury-rigged repairs, a tank ace, and a a tank ace Punisher cannon, Lehman Russ tank commander, a regiment trait on a Bane blade, a hellhound which can mash things in cover, and some cool armor sentinels, all in the same Imperial Guard army. I can take all that. Out of the 8 or so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that were revealed by Games Workshop today, 7 of them, 7 out of 9 can be used in one army. That's really good. And so what they've done is they've given us lots of little buffs, lots of little ways to just improve things, tailor things, tweak things to a player's preferred playstyle, which is exactly what we needed at this point in 8th edition. And if we were to take out Space Marines from the equation, guys, what this update if we just took out Marine Codex version 2, whatever it is, all the Psychic Awakening books that we've seen so far have been pretty well balanced against each other. Elder were already fairly balanced. They got some cool build your own craft wheel traits that gave them a little boost and a little bit of variety, but not totally broken. Same for Dark Elder. They were really powerful. Their build your own cult traits were really good. You know, were not totally broken and overpowered, but they did help improve some play styles. You know, same for the Dark Angels, and Dark Angels, a solid regiment trait, Same for the Grey Knight. The Grey Knights are potentially really, really powerful with all that smite spam, but you know they're going to be weak against horde armies. Same with Thousand Suns. Tyranids have got some weak stuff in there, but then they've got some really, really good stratagems, really powerful stratagems for the Exo Greens. Same for Blood Angels, same for Black Templars. All the Chaos stuff was relatively well balanced. If you take everything that's been released so far, it's all near as damn it the same level. Some things are a little lower. I'd probably say Nids are a little lower, but some things are a little more powerful. Some of the guard stuff we've seen today is pretty good, but it's not way out from each other, you know. And then you look at Marines, and their Codex update was redonkulous, and what they got in Psychic Awakening with the Master of Sanctity and the litanies and all that stuff is also redonkulous. So if you just don't play against Marines, guys, if you just go, you know what, I'm never going to play against Marines again. If you never play against Marines again, and you were just to continue playing 40k, I think you'd find 40k very, very enjoyable and very, very well balanced. So that's good. Because what that means is Games Workshop only has one thing to fix. They just have to fix Marines. Just bring them down. Just bring them down a little bit. Release version 2.5 of the Codex, and just increase the CP of everything by 1, and don't make them totally broken with the combat traits and other stuff. That's fine. All you have to do, Games Workshop, is fix Marines. And if you do that somehow, then the game will re-achieve balance, the same balance it had pre-Vigilus. Okay, pre-Vigilus was the golden time of 8th edition 40k. It's when all the codex had nearly all the codexes had come out, and there was just a few little tweaks that needed to be made, but generally speaking, the armies are balanced against each other. Anyway, that's not the end of it though, guys, because Games Workshop have the cheeky little teasers have also shown us some incredible things for Scions. So the first thing to say, guys, is Militarum, Tempestus Scions are getting their own book. They're getting their own codex release. They're becoming their own thing again. Huzzah! I have a pure Scion army, which I've been building up in the background, so that's going to be awesome. And what they're getting their own book, and what they're also getting, I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is they're getting their own regiment traits, which is fantastic. And they have 6 of them. Okay, and now these are they have 6 set regiment traits. Now there could be the possibility of build your own Militarum Tempestus regiment as well. That could happen. If that's the case, you're looking at 6 regiment traits here and 12. You know, if the guard book is anything to go off, and 12 other build your own Scion traits, which will be awesome. So let's go through those 6 now. Okay. So the first one, the 43rd Iotan Dragoons, crack shots. Highly adept in counter-insurgency operations, the 43rd Iotan Dragoons learn their patience and bloody trade in darkened cave labyrinths. Expert in combating Tyranid gene stealers and other outlier organisms, they have learned the importance of being able to fire with precision rapidly, even at longer ranges. Those who cannot do this are slaughtered by their preternaturally fast enemies. Add 6 inches to the range characteristic of rapid fire weapons models with this doctrine equipped with. Praise be to the Emperor! I can finally deep strike my Scions in hotshot lasgun rapid fire range. Oh, praise be! 24-inch range hotshot lasguns, guys. That's great. Oh, 24-inch range. That's all anyone has ever asked for Scions. That's all they've ever asked for. And amazingly, guys, this isn't even the strongest one. It's not even the strongest one. Because this, if you think about this, this actually only affects, I think, 2 weapons for Scions? It affects the hotshot lasguns and it affects storm bolters. So your storm bolters you've got 30-inch range storm bolters on your Taurox Primes now, and you've got 24-inch range lasguns. So and I've said this, if you like to take big 10-man squads of Scions, all with hotshot lasguns, what you can do now is you can just deep strike those straight down into rapid fire range. Awesome. Oh, hello, first rank fire, second rank fire. Oh, yes, I would like to shoot 36 hotshot lasgun shots hitting on 3s from my Scions. Yes, that would be very nice, thank you. That does have, yes, it does have some good horde anti-clearance capability. Guys, this isn't even the best one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, Resolute Heroism. This is for the 9th Iotan Gorgons. The 9th Iotan Gorgons frequently fight alongside the Adeptus Sororitas Order of the Glowing Chalice, both forces having originated from the same Scholar Progenium facility of Vendel 1. Their allies' devotion to the Imperial Creed inspires them to seek the utter destruction of their enemies. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by an infantry model with this doctrine against the closest enemy unit, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit. Nice! Absolutely nice. So this is a slight variation of the current Scion doctrine, because the current Scion one says you have to be within half range, and when you get a 6 plus, you get to make an additional shot. This is an unmodified hit roll of 6, and it scores 1 additional hit. You don't have to fire again. So if you For example, and this is for any ranged weapon. So if you shoot your plasma guns at the closest enemy unit, so it's not within half range either, guys. So just to break this down, you could get this trait. You could get these extra hits from 24-inch range. You just have to be shooting at the closest enemy unit. Okay, so if you shoot at the closest enemy unit with your plasma guns, and you've got a 6 to hit, that 6 to hit, you don't have to roll an extra shot. You don't have to roll the dice. That 6 to hit becomes 2 hits. Think of it as like Necron Tesla. Okay, what if you get a 6 to hit? It becomes 2 hits. That's really good. That is solid, and the reason that is solid, guys, is because it affects all your ranged weapons on your infantry models, all of them, and you can do it from long range. You don't have to get within 12 inches, and it's an unmodified hit roll of 6. So if you get a 6, even if an enemy has a -1 million to hit modifier on them, if you get a 6, you still score a hit. Okay, no matter how many -1 to hit modifiers the enemy has on them, you always score a hit on a 6 roll. Okay. So this can't. So the thing with this is so the last thing to take into account for this is it's an unmodified hit roll of 6, which means if you were to take this with Tempestus Drop Force Commandos, the Vigilus trait, the Vigilus detachment, which gives you +1 to hit when you jump out of a Valkyrie, this would not activate on 5s. Okay, it is an unmodified hit roll of 6. Your plasma would still be safe, and you'd still be hitting on 2s, but 5s wouldn't generate extra shots. The next one, this one is so good. I think this is the one I'm going to use, honestly. The 55th Kappa Eagles. These guys are the poster boys for Scions. This is the colour scheme for the guys on the box art. Mobilised infantry, a regiment with a long and illustrious history of defeating the Emperor's foes. The 55th Kappa Eagles typify the obedience, excellence and efficiency for which the Militarum Tempestus is known. Infantry models with this doctrine do not suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. When resolving an attack made by a model with this doctrine, a turn in which it disembarked from a transport, add 1 to the hit rolls. Oh my God, it's so powerful! It's so good. Two things to this. Basically, guys, right, it means that hotshot volley guns are back on the menu, boys. Because hotshot volley guns are heavy weapons. And you know the one thing which has been stopping hotshot volley guns from being a pretty much auto include in Scion armies? The fact that they're heavy. Holy guys, I cannot stress this enough. Hotshot volley guns are only 7 points per model. They're actually one of the cheapest weapon options that Scions have available to them. What this means you can do is hotshot volley gun spam the crap out of the enemy. And hotshot volley guns are really, really good. They're strength 4, AP -2. 4 shots each. 4. You take a 5-man Scion squad, right? Think about this. Scions have come down in points, right? So if you take a 5-man Scion squad and make them cheap, dirty cheap, 35 points for 5 Scions, right? Give them 2 hotshot volley guns, 49 points. Fuck it. Give the sergeant a bolt pistol so he can actually do something outside of 6-inch range. For 50 points, you're getting, which is just basically the same as a guard squad with a special weapon like a melter or a flame or something. For 50 points, you're getting a Scion squad which is putting out 8 strength 4 AP -2 shots hitting in 3s and 2 strength 3 AP -2 shots hitting on 3s and a bolt pistol. And if you're in bolt pistol range, screw it, you're getting 4 hotshot lasgun shots as well. This is hotshot volley gun spam made manifest. And even better, that's just the first part of the trait. The second part of the trait is basically army-wide drop force commandos, but you don't need to be within range of your drop force commando warlord trait, field commander. Because remember, guys, it's any transport. So that's your Torx primes, but it's also your your Valkyries. Valkyries have the transport keyword. And if for some bonkers reason, which may actually become relevant, you decide to take, Chimeras using Militarum Tempestus, then you could take, you could get Chimeras and you jump out, which the reason you would take Chimeras, by the way, is because they're cheaper. Imagine a imagine a cheap, dirty Scion force where everyone's just mech'd up in Chimeras, and they're dirty, cheap Chimeras. They've just got a multi-laser and a heavy bolter. Okay, you could take those Chimeras as Talan and then put your Scions inside them. Okay, so you could soup. Okay, so what happens is your Scions, so your Chimeras are driving around. That's what Chimera with that is, 73 points? It's nothing. So for roughly 70 points, for roughly 120 points, you can have a Chimera driving around, and which is ignoring the moving and shoot penalty for hitting, because it's Talan and heavy weapons, and then your infantry pop out and are hitting on 2s. And because your infantry have got hotshot volley guns, and they ignore it means your hotshot volley guns when they jump out of a vehicle are still hitting on 2s. This is incredible, guys. It cannot be overstated how strong this is. Yes, it only affects your infantry. Fine. You know what? I'll fucking soup it then. I'll take non-Scion transports, like Valkyries and Chimeras or whatever, and I'll put my Scions in them. Or, you know what I'll do? It's so good. Hotshot volley guns are back on the menu, guys. I love it. The next one is also really good. I don't know which one to pick. The 133rd Lambton Lions, prized weaponry. The 133rd Lambton Lions work extensively with the Adeptus Mechanicus in the recovery of lost knowledge and arcane technologies. In exchange for their service, the Adeptus Mechanicus sees fit to reward them with esoteric augmentations for their vehicles, armour and weaponry. Improve the armour penetration characteristic of weapons. Models with this doctrine are equipped with by 1. E.g. AP minus 0 becomes AP minus 1. This is just great. It's just, yes. Hello, Games Workshop. I would like to have AP minus 3 on my basic las guns. What? Say what? Basic las guns, AP minus 3. Hotshot volley guns, AP minus 3. Plasma, AP minus 4. Melter, AP minus 5. It's great. But do you know what? Do you know what's the best bit about this? You shouldn't even be looking at the infantry for this. No, you shouldn't be looking at the infantry for this. What about your Torx Prime? This is not an infantry only one. Guess what, guys? Torx Prime with Torx Gatling cannons suddenly just about to be able to fire 20 strength 4 AP minus 1 shots. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. But even one other thing which is interesting to think about is it's all weapons, including close combat weapons. So if you're a total mad bastard who wants to run a close combat Scion army, come on down. All your guys are AP minus 1 in close combat. AP minus 4 power swords? Yes, please. AP minus 1 chain swords? Yes, please. Let me tell you why this one's so good. Okay, because, the Kappa Eagle ones is obviously great. +1 to hit. That's fantastic. But the Kappa Eagle ones only affects your infantry. Okay, so your vehicles don't really benefit from it. The Lambda Lions, it affects the whole army. So it's just super consistent. It is just super consistent across the whole army. It's very easy to remember. Everything is ridiculous AP. It is actually really good. Do you know the worst bit is? I don't know which one of these Scion ones I want to choose. So far, it's 3 for 3. I want to choose... it's 3 out of 4. I want the crack shots from the Iota Dragoons. I wouldn't mind the Resolute Heroism. I definitely want the Mobile Infantry. And I also want the Prize Weaponry. Mobilised Infantry. Yes, I would like to know more. Mobile Infantry. Safe Plasma on that one's massive. Going to the next one. Right, the next one is weak. Okay, straight up weak. The 54th Scion Jackals, Death from the Dark. The Scion Jackals go toward an armour of jet black and with fearsome skulls painted on their masks. This combined with incredible tracking skills and determination makes them truly terrifying enemies. Each model destroyed by an attack made by a model with this doctrine in your shooting phase is treated as 2 destroyed models in the following morale phase. It's weak. Is it? It feels weak. I mean, if you think about it, if you kill 3 Marines, it feels like it means when it comes to morale, they've lost 6 Marines. What it's good at, weirdly, what it's good at is like, it is actually quite, you know what? It's kind of a sleeper one. It's quite good because one of the big problems with Marines, right, is that everyone takes them in 5-man squads, okay? And so what happens is you kill 4 Marines and the bastard's got at least an 8. So even if you roll, and then he rolls a 5 or 6, and then he gets to re-roll it with and they shall know no fear. So basically he just doesn't fail his save. He doesn't fail his morale check and that last guy sticks around. But what if you killed those 4 Marines and then he counts as losing 8? When it comes to morale, he counts as losing 8. Which means that guy is guaranteed to run away no matter what. Unless your opponent spends 2 CP to keep him around. So whilst this doesn't directly do damage, what it lets you do, it's actually quite powerful. I thought it was shite, but talking through it now, I think this could be really powerful. Because what it means is you don't have to focus your firepower. Okay, you can, that's actually, think about it this way, guys. The average leadership in 8th is 8. Okay, it's 8. Okay. What this means is you only have to kill 4 models from any enemy unit in the game. Okay. And if you do, apart from there's things like orcs with mob rule, okay, fine, fair enough. But you only have to kill 4 enemy models to basically mean that on average, any unit in the following morale phase is going to start taking an additional D6 casualties. So the way, and that's actually quite good against things like Primaris who have got 2 wounds. So think about it this way. This is one way of looking at it. If you do, assuming average leadership of 8 for 8th edition, what this trait should really say is, if you destroy 4 enemy models in the shooting phase, then your opponent will automatically lose D6 people in the morale phase. That's one way of looking at it. And it's fairly easy to kill 4 Marines, right? It's fairly easy. What happens when you start combining this thing with like terrifying visions to just make people, make people just start? It makes terrifying visions really good. And terrifying visions, I think it's a really cheap. Is it a cheap psychic power for the guard? I feel like I've got a feeling it's quite cheap. Maybe I'm wrong. No, it's 7 warp. That's right, it's bollocks. But the point is that this isn't as weak as it first looks. Okay, it means if you play this correctly and cleverly, then you're going to make your enemy take many additional casualties in the morale phase. If this is me, I just go, right, I'm going to kill 4 from that unit, 4 from that unit, 4 from that unit, 4 from that unit, blah, blah, blah. And it's good. And the one last advantage of it is that it affects your whole army. It's not like the Kappa Eagles, which, whilst really, really powerful, only affects infantry. This affects your whole army. Disadvantage of this is it gets crippled by mechanized list, because the enemy is, you can't make tanks run away. Now, unless it's like a killer can or a sentinel, you can't, something squadron, you can't make it run away. So that's why this one is the weakest. Because whilst, if you know your regular Fair enough, though. The current meta is all about MSU Marine armies, isn't it? No one takes Marine squads bigger than 5 guys. This is actually, weirdly, counter-meta. And don't forget, guys, you don't have to take your whole army as Scion Jackals. You could just take 1 detachment. If you run pure Scions now, and you can take 3 detachments, you can take 3 of these traits. You know. And this would be a good one to have. So you could have something like you could have 1 detachment of Lambden Lions, and they've all got the crazy AP weapons, and you use that detachment. You start those guys on the board in your Tauroxes, and what you do is you go, right, I'm going to crack open enemy vehicles. I'm going to have AP -3 cracked rockets. I'm going to have AP -2 autocannons. I'm just going to drown enemies in AP -1 Gatling cannon shots. What my Lambden Lions are going to do is they're going to start on the board, and they're going to crack open enemy vehicles. Great. And then turn 2, the Scion Jackals come down and go, right, the enemy is fairly demobilized now. What I'm going to do is now start destroying, morale destroying all those units which have popped out. And that's actually quite powerful, because you'll get 2 shooting phases to get the Scion Jackals where they want to be. So, you get turn 1 to crack open some vehicles. Turn 2, yes, the Scion Jackals are going to come down, but you still get the turn 2 shooting phase to crack open those models. You shoot your Lambden Lions first, and then your Scion Jackals finish off what's inside. I think if played correctly, this actually is really good. But we'll move on to the next one now. Okay, the 32nd Thatoid Eagles, Predatory Strike. Known for their particular vicious methods of warfare, the 32nd Thatoid Eagles are specialists in close-range firefights and rarely take prisoners. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model with this doctrine against a unit within half range, and an unmodified hit model of 6 scores 1 additional hit. This is basically the old Scion trait updated. And how it's updated is it's no longer a 6+, which means you don't get boned by moving and shooting. So what used to happen is your Tauroxes would very rarely benefit from your Scion trait, because the moment you moved, it would become a 6+, which became a 7, and that meant your Tauroxes never benefited from it. So that's good. It does mean you can't boost it up with, drop force commandos. Okay, fair enough. But it's also this has also been boosted because it scores 1 additional hit again. And the old trait, what it used to be is, if you got a 6, you got to roll another shot. It's Tesla again, guys. If you're within half range, you can pick any unit you want. So the difference between the Thatoid Eagles Predatory Strike and the Iotan Gorgons Resolute Heroism is, the Resolute Heroism one can be done at long range, but must be done against the nearest enemy unit. The Thatoid Eagles Predatory Strike, you can, if you're within half range of 3 or 4 different units, you can pick which one you want to get the bonus against. So it's up close and personal, but more flexibility, or potentially further away, but less flexibility. That's the difference between the two. Essentially, both of them do the same thing. 6 equals additional hit. And that is it, guys. That is it. Back to the Iotan Dragoons. Crack shots. So, what am I thinking? It's a toughie. It's a real toughie. Let's assume I'm going pure Scions. Let's assume this, okay? If I'm going pure Scions, let's assume I've decided to take 3 battalions. Okay? What I'm going to do... What I would do with my 3 battalions of Scions, based on this limited reveal... Don't forget, guys, this is not all of it that Scions are getting. They're getting more than this. This is just the prequel to the prequel. Prequel to the preview. Based on this alone, this is what I would do. I'd take 3 detachments of Scions. I would take 1 detachment of Iotan Dragoons for the extra 6-inch range rapid-fire weapons. Okay? I would then take 1 detachment of Kappa Eagles. And I would then take 1 detachment of Lambden Lions. Okay. What I would do is I would take 6 squads full strength of the Iotan Dragoons. 6 squads, 10 man in each squad. And I would just give them all lasguns. All hotshot lasguns, okay? Which is which means they're really cheap, because that's only 420 points. 420 guys, you know, I'm cool like that. 420 points. And what that means is I have 60 infantry, which I'm going to deep strike down, turn 2, and get all rapid fire range on my hotshot lasguns. Okay, that's what I'm going to do with them. I could then pair that with one of my officers to. Well, you might not need 60 actually. Maybe just take 30. Think about this. What if you just took 30? What if you took just 30 guys like that? Okay. So 70 times 3, and you took in that detachment. You took a Tempestus commander, and screw it, a cheap second HQ. Let's say a Lord Commissar. Alright? That's 280 points. And what I'm going to do with that detachment is turn 2, I'm going to deep strike it down in rapid fire range, and I'm going to get my Tempestus commander with his Rod of Command and Inspired Tactics orders. And I'm going to give all 3 of those squads, all 3 of them, first rank fire, second rank fire. And so what that means is I'm going to have 36 times 3. I'm going to have 108 lasgun shots hitting on 3s with AP minus 2. And all that's one of my detachments sorted out. It's one of them for 280 points. Nice. My next attachment will actually be the Lambden Lions. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to be very sneaky. Okay, so I'm going to take a probably minimum sized. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do with them? I'm going to take 3 squads of. I'm going to take a battalion. And I'm going to take 3 squads of Scions, and I am not going to probably give those Scions. I'm not going to take a Tempestus Prime there. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of basic HQs, maybe some Primaris Psychers. A couple of Primaris Psychers. Because the infantry aren't the key part of this list. So that's nice and cheap, and I've got some Psychic Powers, which I want in my Scion list anyway. A couple of Smites, nice. And what I'm going to do with the... what I'm going to do with the Lambden Lions is I'm actually going to take loads and loads of transports. That's what I want the Lambden Lions for. I want their transports. Because their transports, I'm going to take Dakar Primes. Okay, because what you do is for every unit in a detachment, you can take a dedicated transport. So even if I take 2 Primaris Psychers, that still gives me access to 2 more Taurox Primes. So if I take 2 Primaris Psychers and 3 barebone squads of infantry, hello 5 Taurox Primes. Thank you for having armor penetration characteristic of AP -1 on all those Gatling cannons. Probably, or what if I want to take those? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. And so what's that? That's not going to cost me very much at all, is it? That's going to be 35 plus 35 plus 35 plus 46 plus 46 plus 116, 116, 116, 116, 116. That's 5 Taurox Primes and 3 barebone infantry squads and a couple of Primaris Psychers. Combine that with 280 points from before, and that is 1,057 points. And then what I'm going to do, guys, is take Kappa Eagles as my 3rd detachment. And what I'm going to do with my Kappa Eagles is I'm going to take loads of 10. I'm going to take 6 10-man squads again. Something ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to take 6 10-man squads. I'm going to take 5 10-man squads because I've got 5 Taurox Primes. I'm going to take 5 10-man squads. And I'm going to put those Kappa Eagles inside my Lambden Lion transports. And that means that my transports are getting a regiment trait, and my Kappa Eagles are going to be in there. They're going to be rocking plasma. They're going to be rocking hotshot volley guns. And you know what's going to happen, guys? My Torch Spartans are going to slam it forward, Gatling the crap out of things. My Kappa Eagles are going to jump out turn 2, safely overcharge plasma, hitting on 2s with my plasma. You know, I could have orders to make them reroll 1s, or I can go Firestorm sanctioned. I don't care. And then I'm also going to have them with hotshot volley guns, which are going to hit on 2s, and it's going to be glorious. And I'll probably, because that wouldn't eat. So we're on 1,000. We're having 1,057 points down, basically on 1,000 points, roughly. If I was to take a 10-man Kappa Eagle squad with 4 plasma guns and a plasma pistol, and times that by 5, that's only 597 points. I want a couple of commanders to lead them, add 1,057 points, which means for 1,722 points, I have the perfect combination, concoction of Scion abilities, and I still have 288 points left over to add in some anti-tank, which I'll probably need. So there you go, guys. That is how I would run Scions, based purely off what we see now. Now that might not be possible, guys, because they might say you have to go pure Scions and pure guard, but I don't think they will. We're not Marines. I don't think we'll get a super doctrine, you know. I don't think we're gonna get super doctrine. I think we're going to soup the crap out of things. I think we're going to have multiple regiments marching alongside each other, and I am very, very ready to take a pure Scion army that's going to kick ass. Because you know what, guys, I have the models. I think in Mordian glory, more like Scion glory. Am I right? Maybe. What do you think we're going to see tomorrow, guys? I must have been talking for almost 2 hours at this point. This is an absolute monster of a video, but I did say minute detail. And you've got the same thing again to look forward to tomorrow, guys, when the Militarum Tempestus get their full reveal. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the pure guard stuff. What combination of Scion traits would you mix if you can? If you can't mix them, which one do you think is the overall winner? Okay, is there anything that I've missed? Please let me know. I think I've done a fully comprehensive roundup, but let's find out. This is all prequels and previews, guys. We've got so much more to look forward to. When the book finally drops, I will do more videos. This is going to keep us busy for ages. We're going to go through it all in excruciating detail. I know some of you out there have been kind of, you know, Morning Glory. There's not been as much content, specific guard content coming out. This is going to be. We're going back to the old days, guys. The good old days of Morning Glory. Pure guard tactics, drilled down to the absolute nth degree. Not a single detail is going to be left out. This is an exciting time for the Morning Glory channel. It's an exciting time for you. I am extremely excited. Thank you for listening. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Comment as much as possible. I'm so excited. And I'll see you guys next time.